Alright guys, welcome back to Keto Cooking with Love. You're in for a very special episode. Tonight we're making a luscious lobster bisque. So we got a little lobster friend right here. He's ready to join the party. And then we have our fennel here. These fennel bulbs are going to be our little secret to thickening our soup. We have our aromatic vegetables, some cream, stock, white wine, and we're about to get started. So like I mentioned, this is part of a 3-part Valentine's Day series where we're going to share with you an amazing appetizer, entree, and dessert. Tonight's appetizer is our luscious lobster bisque. So we're going to start off by steaming our lobster here. We've got some water and white wine in our pot. And we're going to make sure we get those rubber bands off of the lobster, put them into the pot. There you go, little guy. Don't worry, it'll be worth it. I'm gonna go ahead and cover this and then steam it on high. And we're gonna let that go for about 8 to 10 minutes. And as you can see, our lobster is fully red, perfectly cooked. The aromas are just intoxicating. This is already starting off amazingly. So we're gonna go ahead and get this out, let the lobster cool, and all of that excess liquid. We have the juice of the lobster, we have our liquid from the wine and the water. We're going to reserve that. So now that our lobster has cooled, we're just going to tear the body off and get that tamal out, that nice rich roe you can use later on if you want. Incorporate it with some butter and get a nice delicate salinity. But all we're going to do here is just start to rip off the tail, get that cracked, broken through. And as you'll see, I'm just going to push the meat out and get it out completely. Of course, you could cut this in half with a chef knife, but I'm just going to push through and get that nice, gorgeous tail out. Wonderful. We've got the rest of the body here. We got our legs, our pincher, and our crusher. We're going to pull those out, as well as get the rest of the legs out. You just twist them and pull them out. Now we're going to get all of the meat out of this lobster, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So we have the body, start to rip that apart, just break through, and you want to make sure that you have a container underneath because you want to trap all of the juices. You want to make sure you save all of the juices because that is going to go into our stock. So you can see here, I'm just taking my time with this, because, you know, love takes time, and just working through it and getting all of the meat out. So now we're going to take our pincher as well as our crusher, and we're going to crack through the shells. You can use kitchen shears for this. You can use the back of a knife. We're going to go ahead and crack it, and as you can see, we're going to get that nice knuckle meat out in its entirety. Be delicate with it. Oh man, amazing. So now we have our lobster meat that we've gotten out. We have our shells, but a lot of people don't know how to get the meat out of these little legs. So I'm going to show you. You can do this with a rolling pin, but we always have wine. So I'm going to use my Love's bottles of wine right here and just roll that out, starting from the very claw of the leg, and just roll it out and you get your meat out. So now we're gonna make our intoxicatingly delicious lobster stock. We're starting off with some avocado oil, a little bit of butter, get that melting in a hot pan. We're just gonna mix that around, get it nice and melted, and this is gonna be the basis for our stock. Now a little secret right here is I'm adding a little bit of paprika into our avocado oil and butter. Ooh, look at that. This is going to give us a nice deep color, a nice luscious layer of flavor and spice. We're gonna get that incorporated, and ooh, this is gonna be amazing. When my love tastes this, I promise you, this is gonna be the best Valentine's Day ever. So I have my lobster shells. They're about to go in. Get all of the juices, everything in there, and what you want to do is mix this through very well. Get your lobster shells nice and lubed up with that paprika, butter, and avocado oil, because by getting everything fully incorporated, you're going to extract all of the flavors from the shell. So be sure not to skip this step and get everything mixed through. Make sure you get that butter all the way through. The more you can break up your shells as well, the more flavor that you'll be able to extract from them. So now that we've sauteed that down for about 5-7 minutes, we're going to add our aromatic vegetables. Now I have here some chopped onions. As you can see, the skins are still on because we're going to make a stock, and so it's perfectly fine to use the skins of the onions. That's going to help us extract the maximum amount of flavor. I've added some carrots that we've cut up, and I also have some celery here. This is our mirepoix, our celery, onions, and carrots, which is our base of aromatic vegetables. Hey, where you going? Get back in there. That's right. And we're just gonna saute this. So I had to transfer to a bigger pot, as you can see, because there's a lot going on. So the tops of those fennels that I showed you before, I just cut those up with the prongs, and I have a few garlic cloves. That's gonna go in, and we're gonna give that a nice saute, get everything mixed through, and just sweat it down and start to develop those flavors. We want to make the onions nice and translucent and soften, and get all of our vegetables tender and start the cooking process. And then we'll let it saute for about 10 minutes. So now that we've sauteed that, developed those flavors, isn't that looking sexy? I promise you, if you take the time to make this for someone you love, they will never ever forget this moment. So we're adding some tomato paste. This is going to give us some nice deep color as well as a depth of flavor, and we want to really take the moment to incorporate that all the way through, because, you know, love takes time, so you can't rush this process. Right? Once you have the tomato paste, you're going to let that saute for about 3 to 5 minutes and cook out that raw tomato flavor. And at this point, now is when we heighten the fun. So we're going to deglaze our pan with some brandy. And deglazing just means that you're adding some liquid, which is going to pull all of those flavor crystals from the bottom of the pan and get it into your sauce. We're going to add some white wine. This is one happy lobster. He's got brandy, he's got wine. This is looking like a good night. So we're gonna mix that through, get it all incorporated, and all you wanna do is let your brandy and wine reduce for about 3 to 5 minutes. Oh, that smells so good. And so after you've let that reduce for about 3 to 5 minutes, you've actually cooked off the alcohol, and what you're left with is just the flavor of the brandy and the wine. So now it's time to kick it up with our spices. We have a little bit of more paprika. We have some black pepper mixed in with just a little bit of cayenne pepper. We have a bay leaf. We've got some turmeric. This is going to add flavor, antioxidants, and a nice, deep, rich color. And now we're going to add some fresh herbs, starting with our tarragon, which tarragon and lobster are just a happy marriage. We have some fresh thyme, and I've got some parsley. Just gonna go ahead and rip this and start to release that fragrant oils. Let's get our stuff off to the side and begin to stir this together. You're just gonna stir this together for about a minute. Get your herbs softened, get everything heated through and mixed through. And this right here is gonna be the base of a mind-blowing lobster stock. So now we're gonna add our liquids. We have some vegetable stock here. And then we're also gonna add some water. And you just want enough liquid to just cover all of your ingredients, the lobster shells, your herbs and spices. We're gonna let this simmer and reduce for 45 minutes, but wait, there's more. All of that flavor and juices that we reserved from our steamed lobster earlier, That's going to go in there as well. We absolutely do not waste anything here. So as you can see, we're simmering our lobster stock. While that's simmering, we're going to make a fennel and onion puree. And this right here is the secret, the mind-blowing, delicious secret to thickening our keto lobster bisque. You see, a traditional lobster bisque is thickened with rice, or oftentimes a roux, which is just some type of fat like butter and flour. But since we're about that keto life, we're not going to use those starches. Instead, we're going to incorporate some nice, delicious, fresh vegetable flavors and enhance our lobster bisque without adding tons of carbs. So we have our fennel, we have our onion. As you can see, we seasoned it up with some salt and pepper, and we just want to start sauteing this for about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of more fat because you can always add more. Again, you want to make sure everything is nice and lubed up because that oil is a conduit for heat and it's going to assist in the cooking process. So as you can see now, we have a nice amount of fat. Our veggies are starting to saute, and we're going to cover that and cook it for about 5-7 minutes. And after that, it's starting to get soft, translucent. We even develop a little bit of color and flavor and char. And what we're going to do here is that we're going to hit it with a little bit of stock, a little bit of that vegetable stock. Steamy. So now we're going to go ahead and cover this, and we're going to allow it to steam on medium heat for about 7 to 10 minutes. And there you go. Our fennel onions are nice and soft. You can give them a test and just mash them up. Of course, we also have a little bit of garlic in there. They're ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and put that in a blender or food processor. And you're just going to puree this for 2 to 3, maybe even 4 minutes until everything is nice and smooth and pureed through. So now our stock has reduced for about 40 minutes. As you can see, there's less broth in there. And you're going to strain everything through a fine strainer and really just push through on the colander and extract as much liquid and flavor as you can from those shells. So now we have our fennel and onion puree back in the pot. We're going to add our stock to that, start to create the base for our soup. Got a little bit of spillage on the side, but hey, sometimes it gets messy when you're making love. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. And so we are adding some cream to our bisque for another level of richness and viscosity. This smells so amazing, so heavenly. I promise you. This recipe might seem a little bit time consuming and cumbersome, but if you take the time to make this for someone, you will never, ever forget this night. So we're going to adjust our seasoning with a little bit of salt and pepper and just swirl that in a figure 8. I cannot wait for my love to taste this. We have one last component that we have to get together, and that is to saute our lobster meat. So what we're going to do here is make a tarragon butter. I have fresh tarragon going into a non-stick skillet. I'm going to melt some butter. And by starting off with everything cold, we're going to extract all of the luscious, herbaceous flavor out of that tarragon. Go ahead and give that a swirl. And now we have our lobster meat that we extracted out of our lobster earlier. We're going to add that in there. Does that look amazing or what? Give it a little saute, little flip. I promise you that this little added touch is going to absolutely elevate this lobster bisque to another stratosphere. Season lightly with some salt, perhaps pepper if you like. Just give it a stir through and warm it up. You don't want to overcook your lobster and make it rubbery. You want it to be nice, sweet, and tender. So now we've served up our soup, our lobster bisque into our bowl. We're going to finish that off by adding some nice, delicious chunks of that lobster meat that we just sauteed in our tarragon butter. And of course, We're going to garnish with a little bit of fresh tarragon. And we are ready to kick off this Valentine's Day. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. And make sure to press that notification bell so you can be alerted when we post new videos. Let's go ahead and give this a taste. This night is starting off good.
Hey guys, thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoyed this video. For more amazing keto content, please subscribe to our channel and make sure to press the notification bell so you can be notified the next time that we post a video. See you guys in the next video, and remember, what's done in love is done well. Peace.